All right, so here we go. Um, get loaded up. Find Fíora. All right, stuff, and we're good. Okay, so game started. Okay, so right off the bat, you may do this already. You may not do this already. Um, this is something that is just helpful, just to mention anyway. So beginning of the game, obviously we have you, right? We have Fíora on top. Fíora gets a Shen. So always be thinking about your matchup at the beginning of the game, and even if just like really basic things like are they aggro early? Do they power spike early? Are they going to try and outscale? Are they going to potentially push? Are they going to try and do they want me to push? It's good to think about like what is that champ going to do, and then also what do they want. So and it's also good to think about not just your matchup. So obviously the top laners here, right? But think about the junglers too. So you have a Kayn into a Kindred. Um, so the obvious two things here with Kindred is that with her marks, she's excuse me, she's going to be invading your jungle a lot. So right off the bat, this game even more so than normal. You may have to try and invest in some pink wards, or just be more conscious about warding your area over here, right? Um, on top of that, look where you started. So this is something that I still mention because I think it still helps. But when you start a game, um, it's very common for people in uh gold and below, in my experience, like low, like gold 3, gold 4 and below, just kind of when the game starts. So in that first like 2 minute period, right now we're at 30 seconds. They just kind of run out to the lane and just kind of like chill there in lane. The mid laner always goes, top laner goes here, mid laner goes here. The bot lane will usually hover around the buff or around the river to help the jungler, and the jungler stays here. So the first off is that Kayn starts Raptors. So I don't know if he's gonna move in the next minute, but he's supposed to be right here. He's not supposed to be doing anything in this area. Um, in terms of like when he starts. So he shouldn't just go to Raptors and stand there, but he needs to be like in this area for Raptors, right? Second, when you're top lane, you really shouldn't be, unless there's a specific reason why for a matchup, you really shouldn't be running to your lane. What you want to do is stack, and what that means is that when you guys start at your base, right? The top laner generally, again, this isn't like a set in stone do this every single game, but your default position should be this bush right here. Um, you really don't want to run to your lane because it's not giving you any extra information, right? You're gonna have vision around your tower, so you don't need to also stand here because like you already saw this whole see your mini map. You already see this area. You can look at the other towers for reference. If you already see these areas, you don't need to stand here yourself because you're not giving yourself or your team any extra vision, right? So what you want to be doing is giving your team extra vision. So you want to be standing in this bush, which gives you vision of the river, vision of the bush, and it blocks enemy invade attempts. Because if they're going to invade topside, they're going to invade one of these two paths. Your jungler is supposed to be in this other path, especially if he's Kayn, because he's going to start red side anyway. So he has no reason to be down here right now, unless he wants to try and invade, but you really shouldn't. You are the Lux mid should not be starting Q, should be starting E. So you have no CC on your side, and on their side they have Nico, which could potentially have CC. They have decent early game damage in Vel'Koz and Tristana, and they have range on every single champ. So they're going to be able to poke you out before you guys get there. Where you have Yumi does basically nothing early game, a Kaisa and a Kayn who has to run up to them. So you're not going to win an early invade. So your team does not want that. So you guys should be stacking. So you should be here. Your jungle should be here. Your mid laner should be here, and your bot lane should be here. And the reason why you cover these spots is that every single potential entryway for the enemy to invade is now covered. So if they invade you, you're gonna spot it. And by going to lane, so now look at what you guys did. So you went to lane, mid laner went to lane, Jungler went to the wrong side of the map, and the bot lane's probably going to end up going somewhere around here. So you have zero vision of this path, zero vision of this path, and you're not covering the area that Kane's going to start. So Kindred could very, very, very easily run it through here, put a ward there where she knows Kane's going to start, just Kane, and track him early game. If you guys, so this is both you and the Kane, went to the correct spots, this wouldn't have happened. So this is something, I know I kind of talked more about it than I probably should have, but it's something that no one thinks about. You just kind of like AFK and turn autopilot on in the first like 2 minutes of the game, and it's like a really important habit to get into. It's really easy. There's no reason why you can't just start getting this habit into your game of every time you play, unless there's a specific reason why you need to be somewhere. For example, if your team had a good comp for invading and you guys wanted to invade anyway, unless there's a specific reason to be somewhere as a top laner, you should be in this bush every single time for the vision and for the denial of vision for the enemy team. Oh. Okay. So yeah, so you're looking for your laner, but he's right here with Kindred. So actually, they did place a ward. So just what I said was going to happen. So Kindred has a ward here where Kane should be starting. And even if he doesn't start, he's going to rotate up there anyway. So Kindred's going to spot out Kane's path and know where Kane is. And that could have been stopped by, realistically, you're supposed to go here, Kane's supposed to go here. But if you get in the habit of always going here, you will notice that if Kane's not here, you would just rotate down to that spot, since that's the more important spot to cover. So you could have potentially stopped this ward right here, which will affect Kindred's early path and will affect Kane's early path. You're going to notice a theme of this replay that I'm sure I'm going to have to go over, is that one of the easiest ways to carry a game in solo queue is to impact your teammates as much as possible. You have zero control over your teammates' actions or what they do directly. You can't take their keyboard and mouse and play for them, but you can indirectly help them. So this is an example of one of the ways you could have indirectly helped them by standing here and stopping that ward. It's like the chain reaction of events where, well, if now Kindred can't track Kane, maybe both Kane and Kindred make different early game decisions. Maybe it leads to different ganks and different snowballs. And it's like, it comes down to a game of what ifs on these very tiny decisions that could potentially change situations or turn matchups. Why'd we go to? Alright, so you're waiting for your minions. So that's going to be a theme that I'm probably going to bring up again, is the easiest way to carry is to impact the map and impact your teammates' games. Because you are the constant. In every single game you play, you are the constant, your teammates aren't. So once you learn to try and affect the teammates, that's going to be what helps you the most in terms of trying to get a consistent win rate going. Alright, this is fine. Anything here? I would try to... Okay, that's fine. Let's slow this down. So you know this is slow pushing now, right? You can see that you have more minions stacked than he does, and you're the one attacking the minions. This was fine early game when you pushed, because you got the level 2 advantage. And you end up getting a trade win off it, and now you're level up. So this is all fine. Now you want to push this in, because this is going to stop right here now. Actually, you might be able to get one more freeze out of it. I mean, one more pressure advantage out of it. Okay, so we're gonna... Let's look at the rest of the map right here. So you are right here. This isn't... It's a okay but dangerous spot. So generally, once you get... For top lane, once you get past, I'll call it the opening of the river, the mouth of the river. So if we're going to draw lines here, do one here, and let's do one here. So for your side, once you get past this line, you're in a dangerous zone. This is the zone that Shen wants you in, because if he can freeze the wave here, you're vulnerable to ganks just the entire time until you break the freeze, shove the wave, and reset it, right? So you are just barely kind of like teetering that line right now, where if I were you, your wave is gonna slow push. See all the minions you have and are the tiny amount of minions Shen has. If you don't force this, it's gonna slow push into the tower anyway. But you can deny him more farm and place a ward if you fast push this. So you may do this in a second. We're gonna find out. But I would kill these minions as fast as possible. You're level 3, Shen's level 2. He's not gonna win a trade against you. Push up, shove this wave under tower, and what that's gonna do, so shove that wave under tower, and that's gonna free you up to be able to run down here. You already placed the ward, but you know Kane's here, and I'm sure in the next 2 seconds you're gonna see the Kindred hit this ward. So in the plant, I mean. So in the next 2 seconds, you're gonna also know that Kindred's down here. So we're gonna let this play and see what happens. All right, so now you know Kindred's here. Now you see Kindred with Kane. Looks like you're rotating down. Okay, so see, so this is where if you had pre-shoved this wave would have been here. These minions would all be dead. It'd be here and it'd be crashing. And Shen would be forced to do one of two things. Either one, Shen lets this wave crash into tower, and so basically Shen backs up to here, the wave comes and crashes, and then Shen tries to farm under tower, which one, it takes up a lot of his time because he has to slow farm to try and get the last hit against the tower, and two, it's going to do tower damage, so it's always good to shove the wave. However, the alternate option Shen has, if you had shoved this wave, is Shen stands here and tanks minion aggro from all these minions. They'll start attacking Shen right now, and he will lose a lot of health if he wants to prevent them from going under tower. So that's the other thing. Because you didn't shove this wave, he gets to now try and thin the wave out. See how the minions are going to aggro these three right here? So while all your minions are shooting these three, they're not shooting Shen. So they could be doing damage to Shen right now if you fast push the wave, but they're not. So he's going to have a little window of opportunity to try and kill off these minions that are low health and thin the wave out. And once the wave is thinned out, let's say all these minions are now dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a standard wave size. This is much less threatening for Shen to then let just walk under tower and last hit safely, as opposed to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with a cannon. Hopefully this makes sense and you can see the difference here in terms of the relative strength of what could have attacked Shen and what didn't. I'm just going to rewind one more time just to show you what I mean by this. So when you were here, play this again. Wait till we get up a little more. Alright, this was fine. Oh, what? No, go back. Alright, so here. Okay, here. So at this point, you see Kane on your map. You know he's rotating towards the river. And at this point, you're actually okay to not hard push it, because you're going to have pressure on Shen, and he's forced to stay back here. So you can try and slow push this, don't even hit the minions, and last hit them only to force him to back, and he'll end up losing farm, because you're, if you let these minions just fight each other, and you only come in for last hits, well, because you're about to get level 3, and you know that, you can pressure him off the wave. You can keep him, essentially, back here, while his minions get attacked by your minions, and start to die off. Or sorry, all the way around. While his minions attack your minions, and they start to die off, and then he's losing all that farm now, because you're basically sitting here and zoning him, keeping him at this distance where he can't get all this farm that he wants. That's fine. So we'll call this stage 1. This is like the zoning stage. This is good. However, I want to try and point out when stage 1 changes and flips to stage 2, and how you need to change and react to that. So we're gonna let this play again. So stage 1 is good. You're zoning, keeping him off farm, only last hitting. This is perfect. Now, right here. Okay, so actually, even go for there. I'll let the trade play out. Here. All right. So now, look where your minions are. They're at the mouth of the river, where I was talking about earlier. Is that kind of spot where you want to try and focus on now getting out of here and kind of pushing the wave faster. And on top of that, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 minions. Did I count right? 15 or 16 minions. To his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6. You have roughly 15. So at this point, you know for a fact that your wave is going to push. And you also know that you're at that spot at the mouth of the river where you're about to walk into danger zone, where Shen wants to keep the wave, where he wants to freeze, or where he gets free jungle help, right? So this should be a warning to you that you need to do something and not just let the wave sit. You either want to actively keep pushing Shen off and let it crash, or kill the wave yourself and force the wave to crash. Those are your two options. So that was like your first indicator that we're going from stage 1 of zoning to stage 2 of pushing. Now, this is the second. Notice your jungler down here in the AC. So this is when, like, okay, shit, now I need to move. Like, ideally, you want to roam down here and help pressure Kindred off, right? And you do that, which is fine. If it's the right move to do that. However, it would have been so much better if you had already pushed the wave at that indicator I talked about. So the second you saw that you had a huge amount of minions and you were at like the limit for where you want to be, you should have been all inning that wave to push it under Shen. So kind of like what I was saying before, is this will push the wave under tower, and it will force Shen to either lose a lot of farm or take a ton of damage. Which case, when you come back to lane after helping out the jungler, you now have a huge advantage on Shen, who's going to be roughly at about half health. You're just going to be able to bully him off the wave again and keep this cycle going. Because you didn't shove the wave, now you're going to go help your jungler, which again, not necessarily the wrong thing to do, but you're going to lose this potential huge advantage you had built up early game. And Shen's going to get like a got off scot-free card, like a free pass, where he was basically screwed. And now because you're going to go help Kayn, he's getting very, very lucky in the lack of pressure that's going to allow him to fix this wave and not get screwed over by it. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm spending like a lot of time. Like, we're literally 3 minutes in the game. I'm spending a lot of time on this stuff. The reason why, and I hope it makes sense, and I hope that I'm explaining this in a way that makes sense, is that these are the things that people don't often think about. It's what I like to call autopilot. You just kind of go to what you walk to lane, you do your thing, you play the early game well, you're focusing on your trades and your last hitting, but you're not really thinking about wave management and the effects that this can have on your game. So the reason why I'm over explaining a little bit and spending a little extra time on this is because I think these are going to be the things that you probably aren't even thinking about and that can really help your game. So now I'm going to let this play again. We're going to watch what happens down here. Alright, you chase the Kindred. I would not chase that far. Yeah. Alright, so you zoned off. You got Scuttle. You chased the Kindred a little too far, or you took a little extra health, but it is what it is. You zoned for Scuttle, that's fine. That's good. So this is now going to slow push. It should slow push back to you. It's going to build up. You want to crash this here if you can and reset this. You're going to do it? Okay. Okay, so this is going to be a funky spot for this wave. Notice how the last 2 times that the waves crashed, they crashed in the same spot. And it's not... What should be happening, right, is since you crashed your wave under tower, the wave should reset. And they should start to meet closer and closer back to the middle again. And that's kind of how it resets. It's not doing that. And I'm going to show you why it's not doing that. Go to here and click play. Okay. A little further back. Okay, so right here. Okay, so you have your wave. Notice how these minions are not in tower range right now. We're gonna keep that in mind in a second. Notice how they're still not in tower range. So this was a missed opportunity. If you had maybe used your Q, auto no extra, pushed that wave under and got, I think he had like 2 or 3 creeps that was kind of hanging here at low health. If you had gone a little further, forced those down, your minions would have started walking forward sooner, and they would have been about here by the time that his wave came up and met them. This is within tower range, right? So if your minions are here, your tower is now killing them, and they're going to die, and the wave's going to crash, it's going to reset, start moving back. Because you didn't crash your wave fast enough, your minions only moved up from here to here, which is still outside of tower range. So they're going to meet the blue minions here, and they're going to stall. This is basically exactly where Shen wants the wave, because it's going to force you to overextend past where you're safe in order to try and farm and contest him. And he is going to be able to safely farm back here, because if you all in him, he takes 1 step back and he's under tower and he's safe. And if you try to stay for farm, like if you stay in this area for farm, you are a completely open free gang to Kindred. Granted, Kindred's bot side, and I think we know that. You on a ward? I don't think she's not. Okay, so we don't know where Kindred is right now. So we don't know where Kindred is, so we should not be stepping up to here. We can infer she's bot side because we know we saw the scramble here and she kind of ran back. But she could have backed, she could have ran back, she could be camping. Until you have that confirmation that she's gone, you really don't want to be stuck in a freeze right here. And this problem is going to compound because I think that the same exact thing happens again. We're going to see if I remember correctly, where the wave doesn't fully crash. So it resets, so we're still stuck in that spot we don't want to be in, and we're not forcing the wave under. So again, we need to kill these minions now, right now, and it's too late. Okay, so see how once again the wave got stuck in the exact same spot. So now this is a 3rd time that we are gonna reset and be stuck here. We want this to crash. We want this wave to start moving back towards us and not keep getting stuck in the same spot. You need to force your minions under tower to kill that. Let the tower kill them. Hard reset the wave and let it meet back in a more neutral spot, so you can fall back, be safer while you farm, and force Shen to step up to you, so you can keep putting pressure on him and zoning him off the wave. Again, sorry I'm talking about the wave so much, but I think this is the part that people don't think about the most. So the more I explain here and the more you can kind of get out of it and learn about it, I think that it's for the better. I'm going to try and not hit on that point as much anymore because I spent a lot of time talking about it. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying and it's starting to make more sense. Because again, if Kindred is here, this is like a free gank for days for a Kindred. And even if she's not here, we're not able to pressure Shen here. Shen's able to sit back, safely farm. He's not getting pressured. He's not getting chunked out. He's not really worried about anything right now. And we're not getting as much of an advantage as we could be getting. Notice we're beating him in farm, which is good. We are 15 farm up, almost nearing 20 farm up, which is great. But it could be even more, and that's kind of the point I'm going to try and get across, is that even if you're doing well, it doesn't mean that you're not making mistakes somewhere, or that you're not extending your lead as far as possible. Okay, so just one more thing. Because same exact idea that I've been saying, how the wave is stuck here, you just backed and left the wave stuck here. So now Shen's going to have a completely free, 20 seconds by the time you back by and walk back to lane to farm and keep the wave here instead of freeze. Before you back there, you need to crash this wave. You really need to step up, bully Shen, kill these minions, crash your wave, let it reset, and then back. And by the time that you recall, you back, you buy items and walk back, the wave is now going to reset to somewhere closer to the middle. It's going to be like coming right up to you. Because you don't reset it, it's not going to be in the spot you want it to be. It's going to be closer to Shen. He's going to have an advantage again. So again, same idea that I've been saying this whole video so far, but it's just wave management, trying to have those cues in lane of like, okay, before I do anything, whether it's leave to go help or whether it's back to go back to base or whether it's contest Shen, before you do anything, what state is the wave in? And what state do I want the wave in? And make sure you prep the wave before you make those actions, and you'll not get stuck in the spot like you were. Again, you are zoning Shen off, you have a farm lead, you're doing a good job, but it could be a better job. And that's kind of the point that I want to get across here. So we're just gonna watch Shen as you walk back to wave. So he's also pushing the wave. So he misplayed that too, where he reset it for you. All right, we're gonna see what happened there. So what Shen should have done there, just before I get the point out before we move on, is that he should not have hit these minions. He should have waited, let these minions kill each other, and just last hit them. He hits these minions, kills them quickly, and actually allows his wave to push out, which is what you would have wanted to happen. So he misplays this, and he helps you here. Don't expect enemies to misplay. Expect that they're gonna do the right thing, and expect that they are going to let this wave slow and stay here as long as possible. It's gonna push anyway because he has 4, you have 3, and yours are low. But he accelerates it and pushes it even further than it needed to. All right, we're gonna focus on this now. So let's see what happens here. You see Kindred invades. You ping to go in. Kane's basically dead. Okay. So you know Kane's dead, but you're getting help from Lux. So this isn't necessarily a bad idea. The one thing I'm gonna caution you on is that see Tristana's level. Tristana's 7, Kindred's 5. He's dead, he doesn't count anymore. You're 5. Lux support is 5. Not support, sorry. Lux mid is 5. You have a Yumi, but she's still kind of far away. She's probably not gonna impact the fight very quickly or very soon. This is probably not the best idea to go in on here. We're gonna see how this plays out, but just keep in mind, you know she's 7, you know she's 5, you know he's about to die, and we're walking in here without help of Lux yet. So if we step forward, we're pretty solo, and let's see what happens. Okay, so you jump right in. He dies. We knew that was gonna happen. You jump in onto a level 7 and a level 5. And the level 5 has a slow and a dash, so it can kite you out. And you waste your Q, don't waste your Q, but you use your Q to jump in here, and you get more distance between you and the Lux. This is not a smart play. Obviously you know you're gonna collapse on and die here, but you should have known that coming into the play. You knew that you're level down, you know that you're engaging 1v2, and you know that you don't have any stats to tank yet. So what items do you have? Yeah, you have nothing that gives you health or armor, so there's no reason why you should believe that you dashing in here is gonna stall out for enough time for the Lux to come in. Especially because Lux wasn't with you in the first place. She was still kind of far away. So by you engaging, you're just creating even more of a time gap between when Lux can help you out. So you're creating a 2v1, where not only it's a 2v1, but they have the level advantage as well. And now you're going to lose all your health by the time Lux gets here. So even when Lux gets here, it's still not really a 2v2. It's still really, you're basically dead to rights, and now Lux is in a 2v1 afterward. So this is just not a play you want to make. And then Shen comes in. Honestly, Shen didn't even need to come in. You were dead anyway. But Shen comes in, uses ult. So now it's really like there's absolutely no way that this could have turned out in a positive way for you. So my tip there would be just instead of just trying to help the Kayn, think about the play first. And I know this maybe in other situations you do, but think about the play first. See if the play is worth it, and then always identify the situation. So you knew that it was a 1v2, which is already your disadvantage, and that Tristana had a 2-level lead on you, and you don't have any health or tank stats to kind of take the brunt of it as you're going in. So that was just a bad play. Should have avoided it. Let the Kayn die, and just go back to lane and keep farming there. This is good. You pushed it and you move. Okay, good. You did push it that time. That's what you wanted to do the other time. This is good. Notice how it met back out here. This is actually perfect. So notice how that was the first time you actually pushed it, the wave under tower, and it met back here. You are no longer stuck sitting here, open to a gank, and not being able to pressure the Shen because he's so close to tower. This is where you want the wave. Unfortunately for you, because of the play that just happened, Shen is now ahead of you. Shen has a level lead on you, he has a health lead on you, and you're still beating him in farm, but the items are not too different, where he has Tab Eyes, some pots, and then a Doran Shield to sustain. you definitely out damage him, but because you have no health and because you're level down, you're not gonna be able to pressure him out as much. So it's just an unfortunate situation because when you finally got the wave in a spot you want it to pressure him off and really extend your lead, you're not in a position to pressure him anymore. So unlucky timing, but this is I'm glad you can see this is what you would have wanted all other times when you were in a position to extend your lead and you could have been so much further ahead. Um, you push that. You're looking down. Are you looking for something specific there? Okay, Kindred. So maybe you're just going to see Kindred. You spot Kindred, you back off. That's good. You know she's still topside. You see Kindred on Kane, so now you're good to go back to lane. Are you trying to collapse on her? I wouldn't collapse on her here. Yeah, and absolutely nothing happened. She got her farm. She left. You're wasting time and letting Shen free farm when he shouldn't be, and he's getting further ahead now. So there, just pretty simply, I wouldn't have collapsed there. When you saw Kindred in the lane in the jungle, that was fine, or the river, sorry, that was fine to back off and wait, and then be cautious until you see her again. But then you saw her here, and you should have just gone back to lane. At that point, just go here, go right back to lane, and start farming, and then prevent. Because remember, not only are you losing CS when you're out of lane, but you're losing the experience. So Shen was already a level up, and then you just walked out of lane and stood time in the jungle, effectively getting no gold, getting no experience, just wasting your time. So because he's already a level up, you really can't afford to do that. So what you really want to do there is once you notice Kindred is here and you see her on the ward, I think you were like somewhere around your tribush. Just get back to lane and start farming again. You do not want to lose any more gold or XP than you are. Because you went down there, you got the baby raptors, like 3 of them, and then did nothing and then walked back up. And that was a lot of wasted time and wasted XP that you could have had. Alright, so we're backing. Fine. Looks like I'm guessing you're waiting for an item. Okay, yeah, you bought Vamp Scepter. Now we're going back. That's unfortunate. Hopefully King comes back. I mean, 14 in one game, you know, it's not much to think about here. You're not playing the best game. You could have been a lot more further ahead than you are. Your teammates aren't playing the best game. Your bot lane's absolutely feeding. Your mid lane's absolutely feeding. So it's actually a good point to think about. So it's not really drawing that. So try to look here. You can see that obviously your bot lane's feeding their ass off. There's not much you can really do about that realistically. Your mid lane's also way behind. She's 40 CS down. She's 3 kills behind, and she has 3 more deaths. And so that means she's definitely down a level. She's down 3 levels. Your mid lane is essentially a glorified cannon minion. Your bot lane is not going to be doing any damage into a double mage bot lane when they're behind. So this whole section of the map is canceled out. Then you look top lane and you see, okay, Kane's 0-1-1 and he's behind 20 farm. 20 farm is kind of excusable because he probably has absolutely 0 pressure bot lane, and I'm sure Kindred was invading his jungle pretty much the whole game. And then you look at you and you're like, okay, well, you're 30 farm up. You only have 1 death, and your laner doesn't have any kills. So it looks like you're doing fine, right? Especially relative to your team. Like, this is one of those games where you leave the game and you're like, oh, my team fucking sucks. My team inted, nothing I can do. It's just go next. My team, it's the but my team game, and to an extent, like it is, right? Like your team's down 14-1, and you've only died once. So your team has 13 deaths that do not involve you, and only one of your teammates has a kill the whole game. So this, to an extent, is my team game. And sometimes you are gonna get games where just like your team ends so hard you can't carry. However, what I do want to say is that even though this is a my team sucks kind of game, you're not playing that well as relative to how well you could have been playing, right? So I'm not gonna re-say the things I've said, but try to take all the advice I've said and look at your card right now. You could have been probably another 20 CS up if you didn't leave lane those couple times, die randomly, and waste a lot of time. Shen could be another 30, 35 CS down if you had stayed in lane, pressured, reset the lane properly, and got it in a position where you could have pressured the game. Um, and at that point, you're looking a lot better. So even though you still look like you're the best on your team, it's not because you're doing well, it's because you're the only one that's not inting, right? So you could be in a position to carry. Even though your team's behind 14 to 1, you could have 110 CS right now at 11 minutes, which is very, very good. And then your Shen could have about 35 CS at 11 minutes, which is awful. And the Fíora, I'm sure you have Fíora in your name, so I know you know Fíora well. She's obviously a late game carry. Your goal is not to bully lane. Your goal is to stay even and outscale. So the fact that you are in a position to bully lane this hard in a game for Fíora is huge. This is like again isolation. Let's pretend bot doesn't exist. Let's pretend mid's not feeding. This is like a beautiful game for you. This is what you really want to see, because you're actually able to bully the lane and get a huge advantage on a scaling champ. This is the game that if you have this laning phase, 9 times out of 10 you win. Unfortunately, your team's inting pretty hard, and you're not, by like I can see how the game looks. You're not gonna come back from this, and you're not gonna win the game. But again, I'm over explaining that I need to, but it's partly because I know this game is so short and because it's so one-sided. There's not going to be too many things to really point out on a macro sense or a late game sense. So I'm trying to really nail these early game things so you get a lot out of this VOD review still. But even though it looks like you're doing fine, you could be doing a lot more. Always try to compare yourself relative to what you could be doing, not relative to how bad your teammates are doing. That can be a trap you fall into to justify your own play and say, okay, well, maybe I didn't play the best game, but I'm clearly doing better than these people. Don't do that. Compare yourself to how well you know you could be playing, always. And that's the way that you're going to create consistency throughout your games, and you're going to actually help improve yourself. Alright, again, we're just kind of leaving lane. You're not going to be able to do anything mid. I would have just stayed top here. So you pick up a kill on Shen because he's stupid and he way overdove that. But then you get zoned off by Kindred right away, and you end up basically losing the tower anyway. It worked out fine. I mean, you got a kill and you stopped them from taking the tower, so it worked out fine. But again, you got the kill because Shen misplayed, not because you made the right position. What should have happened there is you would have roamed. Shen would have not dove that far chasing 3 people because his team, again, look at it from Shen's point of view. His team's winning at that point in time 16 to 1. He's going to play a little inty and a little over aggressive and a little joyride because he knows he can get away with it. In a regular game, if this was closer, Shen would not have been there. You would have walked down there, not gotten the kill, and then it would have been Shen and Kindred hitting the tower, so you wouldn't have been able to defend it 1v2. So again, that play on an average game is not going to work, and all it's going to do is waste more time and waste more of your CS and farm that you've already been kind of giving up a little bit in this game. It kind of worked out because Shen misplayed, and then it turned into a 1v1 to defend the tower against Kindred. But normally that's not going to work out that way, and it's going to put you further behind. Yeah, I unfortunately I know I've been talking a lot about. Like, I've been going in depth on a few things instead of going broad. I'm going a wide variety on a broad amount of things, but I know this game's short. The game's 14 minutes in, and you're already down 16 to 2. I can look at the timer, and I know it ends soon. So there's just realistically not going to be too much to say out of this, other than what I've been trying to nail. Um, here. You are going back top lane. Shen, you see Tristana. So you know that tower's dead, and you know Shen's here. So yeah, I'd be definitely more careful of how far up you're pushing right now. Yeah, you're pushing a little. Okay, hold on. We're gonna. Oh. Okay, sorry. was not pausing. Okay, right here. Okay. Here. Okay. So you see Tristana. You know she's farming, and you know second she's done, she's going this way. Level 11, level 9, ranged, melee. You have quite literally zero advantage in this situation. Her wave's crashing, so she's gonna be able to push up. You are stuck under tower, and you have not only can you not fight her, she has range, so she can just choose to fight you if she wants to. The absolute last thing you want to do right now is step up away from tower and attack these minions. First, you're going away from your safe zone. Tower is your safe zone. She has to come into tower range and hit you if you're right here. Secondly, the longer these minions stay here, the longer that barrier exists between her and the tower. So you can look at it two ways. One is you run up here and you kill the minions. That way, if she goes into tower range, she takes aggro. However, if you go up here to kill the minions, you're putting yourself within auto attack range of Tristana, right? And she's 2 levels ahead of you with a red buff. She really only needs 2 or 3 autos chunking down to half health. So even though you might be thinking, I want to kill these minions now so Tristana can't tower dive me, by stepping up to kill the minions, you're essentially allowing her to get a free trade and then tower dive you, because you'll be at half health. And you're going to see that happen right now, I bet. Let's go back and rewatch what happens. You step up, you go into tower range, she hits you with 3 autos, and you're at half health. And now you can't do anything. So now she can tower dive you even if the minions aren't there, because she, again, 3 more autos and you're dead. So your team comes to help defend, but you don't have to be this low right now. Alright, she is hard inting. Alright, again, this is where it's gonna... Yeah, that team blows. Okay, so I'm gonna make 2 points here. I'm gonna make 2 points. One, we're gonna build off what I said before with the Shen example, where Tristana hard inted. She saw 3 of you here, and she jumped into tower range and just tried to take you guys on and kill you. Obviously, that was her giving herself an excuse, saying, "Oh, I'm so far ahead. We're so far ahead. It doesn't matter." She went over aggro. She knew she went over aggro, and she inted. However, something I will say, especially if you're playing a late game carry champ, is that as bad as your teammates are, and they're bad, they're terrible. As bad as your teammates are, the other team is gonna make mistakes too. You're all the same elo, right? Everyone in this game is between what, silver 1 and gold 3 for the most part. Every single person in this game is gonna make mistakes. That Tristana just gave over a huge shutdown. She killed herself for no reason, and she turned the battle afterward because she baited her team into following her, and you guys got some follow-up kills after you pushed the wave out, right? So, stuff like this happens too. So it's one thing to note is that, yes, again, in a normal game, none of this would have happened because the Tristana would not have just ran down behind your tower and inted and baited her team into fighting a fight they can't win. Granted, that still happens. Like, even though it shouldn't have happened, you never want to bet on the other team messing up to help your game. You still need to be able to react to it, and you still need to be able to think that, like, it's a possibility. It's 18-5, but what was it? It was what, 16-1 not too long ago, or 16-2. Like, obviously you guys are still losing by a lot, but it's a potential to come back. The later the game goes, the more valuable people are, the more valuable shutdowns are, the more time you give yourself as a late game carry in Fíora to scale, the easier it is to swing team fights. Team fights are more valuable to win because the death timers are longer and the objectives are more important. You'll get 3rd, 4th drag, and you'll also get Baron coming up. So these aren't things to ignore. Like, if you notice that they're inting and you have a chance to come back, try to take advantage of that. Because yes, that should not have happened, but it did happen, and that's sometimes going to happen in these games. Now you're waiting it out, see if they push. Looks like they're backing off. Okay, so you're on top lane. You know that was that Rift Herald was just taken. So I'm assuming you're typing in team. Honestly ignore your team, especially in these games where you're losing 19-5. Like, then nothing good's gonna come of talking to your team. Either you're gonna tilt them or they're gonna tilt you. It's not gonna help anything. Um, you don't have teleport. You're stuck in a top lane all by yourself. At this point, you're committed. Just push it, see what happens. Pray your team can defend this tower, not let it go down, and hopefully you get something while they're defending. I would probably back now. I back right now. You're not gonna get okay. So look at your team. At this point, you know you're alone. You should have your even if you're taking this tower up here, right? You should be looking at this part of the map. You should pan your camera over and be able to see what's going on here. You can see towers at half health. You can see that they are poking out. They're using ults. They're getting you down, your guys down. And you know, unless I just like severely misheard the sound earlier, that they have Rift Herald. So potentially they could drop Rift Herald and break your base open right here, right? So now that you got this tower, you really don't need to be pushing anymore. You should be backing here because there's no way that you're gonna get another tower. And I just unlocked Fog of War, and it's gonna show you that not only Tristana but Shen are both here. So you're not going to be able to push this wave anymore. But you should know that already, right? So when you take this tower, when you took this tower, you have vision bot lane. You can see there are 3 champs bot lane. That means you know there are 2 champs somewhere else. And the only logical thing you can assume is that they're coming top lane to stop your push, right? So you don't even have to keep walking forward until you see them to confirm they're there. Realistically, you already know they're there. So the second you take this tower, just leave. Take the tower, walk back a little bit so you don't get jumped from a bush, back, and then if the other team is still trying to break open your base, you run right down here and you stop them. Potentially you could stop them from opening your base, and you're just wasting time by staying up here anyway, because like you should know that you're not getting anything after that tower. You end up fighting. You kill Tristana, which is great. That actually helps you out a lot. It's the best way that situation could have went. Shen came, he almost saved you, but you still got the kill. That was a well played fight. So again, think that before, even though you guys are way behind, people throw, right? Teams throw. That Tristana is not, she was started off the game very strong. She's not looking like she's making the best decisions right now. He's gonna end. He's dead. Alright, what are you gonna do? Good. That was good. What are we doing here? Okay, that was a little... Okay, hold on. We're gonna back up there. Okay. That's a red. Okay, so what do we see? We see a Nico. We know we had just seen Shen top. I think Kindred was top too. So we see, just double check. Yes, so we saw Shen and we saw Kindred top. So we know they're top. We see a Nico here. So think about this game like this. What do you see? You use the information you just gathered. You know there's a Shen here, and you know there is a Kindred here. You see Nico here. That means there's at least 3 topside. Now you look bot side, where you have vision, and you see there's no one pushing the wave. So chances are they don't have anybody on their team bot side. Baron's up. So if they have 3 people topside pushing the waves in to extend their vision and lessen your vision, and Baron's up, there's a good chance this Nico's not alone. There's a good chance she has at least 1, if not 2 teammates pretty close behind her because they're prepping for Baron. You should be able to tell that they're prepping for Baron by those clues. You know no one's bot. You know 2 people are top. And you see Nico here with a sweeper. She's not just here, she's specifically sweeping for wards right now. Is that the Nico or is that? Yeah, that's the Nico. So all these clues should be able to tell you that she's not alone. The rest of their team's probably right around here prepping for Baron. I'm going to reveal Fog of War and see if they are. Alright, one of them was. So Vel'Koz looks like he's rotating bot for some reason. But then Tristana, the one that is the damage dealer, is here. So using all those clues, we can kind of figure out on our own that Nico's probably not alone. Now we're going to see what happens. Here. Okay. So this is where you probably realize the, oh shit, I fucked up kind of moment, right? You step on a ward. You know that Tristana sees you now. Tristana's already attacking you. And you kind of mouse over to this trade. And it looks like your friend over here is dead to rights. So we're going to see what ends up happening. But it's from the context clues you should have had, you should have known this is probably not the smartest play to try and fight on. You dash into a Nico as she ults. Trying to get your parry off. Mistime it. Unlucky. If you time the parry correctly, yes, you would have stunned the Nico. But your friend over here is completely useless. Yuumi has no health and does no damage. You are getting chunked out by the Tristana, so even if you stun the Nico ult, yes, you would have had a little more health, but Tristana bomb's about to go off, you would have lost all that in the next auto attack anyway. So, again, just like, Yuumi does no damage. You knew Nico wasn't alone through context clues. This was not the smartest play to make, and then on top of that, you dash into the Nico ult. Again, I know you probably tried to parry the ult, and that was your intention the whole time, but even if that's your intention, you're just taking free DPS from the Tristana the entire time. Like, that's still not a good idea, because you're chunked out to this much, and then you end up missing the parry. So this is just all, you're both going to die here pretty easily, unfortunately. And now they're going to steamroll the game, because now, like I said, they were prepping Baron. Now 2 of you just died. Kai'Sa wasted heal. And if they're smart, they're going to go get a free Baron right now. See if that's what they're doing. No, they're not smart. They backed. They're going to try and push mid. Kindred's going to push top. So they're still going to get objectives, but I don't think Nico had to back there. I think they would have wanted to rotate the Baron. With both Kindred and Tristana, they could have taken it. So they're going to get nothing mid, waste their time. Kindred's going to start solo pushing top side. Interesting. And alright, so you're gonna go answer the Kindred. This is good. Get the CS, push this out, and then rotate down. Alright, good. You're rotating down, you're trying to help out. See if you can catch this Tristana being over aggressive again. You know she's gonna do it. She did the last couple times. Oh, we overcommit here. Alright, that worked out fine. They overcommitted, they got flashed. They're gonna take the tower now, which just sucks, but like there's not much you can do about it at this point. This is the point in the game where your team's dead, you're half health, you're under leveled, you're getting pushed in. The game's over at this point. But hopefully this VOD review helps you see that even in a game that is as abysmal as this, 22 minutes in, 28-8, your entire bottom side of your map is basically non-existent. 1-11, 2-6, 0-3, 1-6 by the jungle by the end of the game. This was definitely a game where your team was the worst team. It was a challenge. It was going to be a challenge for you to kind of overcome and try and carry them. But even as you can see now with this fight, The other team's making mistakes. The other team's overcommitting. The other team's doing dives they shouldn't be making. They're dying for no reason. And a lot of this gold is going on you. So you're getting shutdowns. You have gonna work 5 kills of your team's 11. You're getting multiple shutdowns. You're the only one that's been killing Tristana this whole game. So you are in a position to carry, even though it doesn't look like it is. And now think back to all that time earlier where you could have extended your lead. You could be another level up. You could have more farm. You could have another item piece. You could be doing more damage. So even though your team's losing, you still could have been in a position to carry this game. And I think that's going to be the biggest takeaway for you for this review, is that potentially you could have impacted this game. There it goes. You could have impacted this game a lot more than you did. And then saying that, you still were the best player on your team. Like, I'm not saying you did poorly this game, but I'm just trying to point out the ways that even in a game like this, where it seems completely hopeless, you could have really had a huge impact on the game and potentially turn the game around. I mean, look what you're doing here. You're absolutely carrying this fight right now. It's just unfortunate that you're finally doing it now when you already lost your entire base. They're on your Nexus and you're starting to pop off. So hopefully you can take this advice and these clues and kind of improve your game. Again, ultimately your team lost the game, but you could have potentially carried this game. You were definitely in a position to do so. You were definitely far enough ahead of Shen individually, and by the late game, you were carrying team fights almost on your own. You just got so overwhelmed at that point where it was too late to start the comeback. If you had been further along in your build and further ahead and more dominant in those fights, you potentially could have started this comeback earlier, and maybe by the time you start turning team fights, you guys still have your 3 inhibs. Even if you're on the base and you're still losing the game, you're not literally 3 inhibs down, supers in the base, attacking the Nexus. Game is quite literally over by the time you're making these comeback team fights. Hopefully this helped, dude. Let me know if you have any other questions. Feel free to message me, PM me, and comments back and forth after this, after you watch this video. And good luck in your next games.